All right, welcome back for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video that I do where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those back issue boxes, things that might be underpriced, undervalued at a shop. These aren't the hot 10 books. These aren't the books that are up on the wall. These are kind of forgotten about. And like I said, undervalued and underpriced stuff that you might still be able to find if your shop has them. So just pay attention to the market that I'm providing, the information for you, how much they're selling for, how much others are asking, and then you can make the call for yourself as to whether you want to buy it or not. I'm not telling you to buy any of this stuff. I'm not telling you not to buy any of this stuff. I'm just showing you some books that I find interesting that you might be able to find at your shop because these aren't the books, like I said, that are on any hot lists right now that just could be forgotten about and ignored. Just some fun, interesting books that, like I said, I just want to share. Hopefully you're still enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We are getting ever and ever closer to that 2,000 subscriber mark. So we are on our way to 2K. We are probably about 40 or so short. So we are almost there. And once we get there, we'll be doing another big giveaway here on the channel. More details to come as we get there. I just got back from vacation, so I got a lot of work to do and catching up on some of this content to provide for you guys. I also have a bunch of membership exclusive stuff for those members that joined up. I got some t-shirts I got to mail out this week if I can get to it, hopefully. And yeah, just a lot of fun and exciting stuff here happening on the channel. So glad you are all on board with us. And like I said, keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this thing. And if you want to see what books I have to talk about this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so for this week, we will get back to our quick artist retrospective. And I have yet another artist that I like that I want to share with you guys. Again, this is not a secret name. These are a lot of big name artists that we already know, but maybe I can share some covers and some things that maybe you aren't so privy to. And this week, I want to look at Frank Cho. Frank Cho, a lot of you might know him from creating Liberty Meadows, very popular independent series, ran an Image for a while there, and he's done a ton of covers for both Marvel and DC, and he has a very distinctive style. Like, you can catch a Frank Cho cover these days pretty easily. And like I said, we're going to start off here just talking a little bit about Liberty Meadows. I mean, this book in and of itself is already pretty expensive, the first issue, because it wasn't heavily printed. So it's not that easy to find. So it does command a little bit of a premium. I'm not putting that in here. I'm just sharing the information as far as things. I mean, if you find them, great. I like the whole run. If you can find any of them for cheap, pick them up, because look, there's some awesome covers here from, there's got issue 1, I think that's issue 7, and then got a lot of like homages, and a lot of these covers tell a story, which is why I like them. Like, it's not just one pinup image. It's like it's got a little bit of a story going on with it. Here's a couple more examples of some covers from Liberty Meadows. You got some of the later issues, 31, 36, and then the final issue, which is another one you want to keep an eye out for, because I always talk about those last issues, those final issues. So Liberty Meadows is another one. The final issue of this one was issue number 37, and it's got a little bit of a space theme here. And if you can find it in a cheap box, it could be worth your time. I'm not telling you go out there spend 10 to 20 bucks for this thing, because that's kind of what it's selling for. Look, you see 20 bucks raw back in June. Best offer on a 9.8. They took under 110, so they probably took around 100 bucks on that one. Asking prices right now are anywhere from $15 to $20 to $40 for this thing. And like I said, I'm not telling you pay any of these market prices. I'm saying if you find this in a cheap box, cover price $5 or less, dollar box even, this is the kind of thing. Just be aware of it. Just know what it is. So this way, if you add it to your collection for cheap, or if you want to flip it, hey, hobby how you want to hobby. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to give you information and share some cool books with you, and then you make the decision of what you want to do with that information on your own. That said, Liberty Meadows is, again, one of the things that I think of for Frank Cho personally, but he's also done a number of variants as well. Some of them are pretty expensive these days, so this is a batch. I'm just going to show you just a couple of expensive books from the Totally Awesome Hulk #1, which he also, I believe, did the regular cover for and stuff. So just the variant as well, that Ultimates 3 variant, that recent Iron Man #5 variant with Hellcat, all these things. Again, well above ratio. Well above ratio. We're looking like 200 bucks for a couple of these things, 90 bucks for the other one. Expensive books. So again, I'm not telling you pay these prices or anything like that. Just know the value of some of these books in case you find them at a shop. So you see that Ultimates 3 at a shop and it's only marked like 25 bucks or 30 bucks. It might be worth your time to pick it up, considering what some of the asking prices and sales are recently on something like that. And not all of his variants are super expensive. Some of them can be found for under ratio. Here are some recent ones where he did a Black Cat 3, the Punisher 1, Extermination, which was, again, another one of those oddball X, crossover events that they always print heavily and there's always variants, and the variants never hold the value. It's just unfortunate. But these are things, again, that Punisher is a 1 in 50. It's asking 30 bucks these days. The Black Cat is also 1 in 50, which you can see sold for 23 bucks at auction just a couple of weeks ago. And then, like I said, there's that Cho variant on the Extermination issue number 2. That's a 1 in 25. And it's sold for 750. So well under ratio. There's still cheap variants you can find that Frank Cho has done over the years. And then there's some that you might not be able to find. I believe I've already covered this one before, but I just want to show it again because it's an awesome Daredevil. But I believe I already covered this on Chasing Ghosts. And if you try to look this one up right now, I couldn't find any recent sales or any available copies. So like I said, I covered this one already on Chasing Ghosts, and it's still not easy to find. So, but it's a pretty cool Frank Cho cover that I just wanted to share with you. Another fun thing about Frank Cho that you can find a lot of information on online. Granted, if you hit him up at a show, maybe you want to pay it a little bit extra. Maybe you can get him to do a sketch cover for you. But he does a lot of awesome sketch covers. I mean, a lot of jokes in here, a lot of wink and a nod type stuff. But just some of these covers are just it's just great. It's just great that he can do this stuff, doing these sketch covers for fans. And like I said, they tell a story. It's not just like a profile pinup or anything like that, just a face or just a quick sketch. Like these are some legit, like, it's almost like it's telling, like I said, telling a story. And that's what you're getting here on a lot of these covers, like those Liberty Meadow covers from way back in the day. But you can see here with Supergirl, you have a Power Girl for stretching her shirts out, for borrowing them and stretching them out, which you get the obvious implication of which she's stretching out with her shirt. And then you get the Batman and Superman back there just kind of making jokes, and always with the the outrage. He does like to poke the bear a little bit with everybody who gets outraged over some of these it's not even saying not suitable for work. It's not even that. Yes, a little bit more risque material, sure, but it's not really that bad. This is like PG-13 type stuff. So everybody should calm down too. But still, kind of fun stuff. Here's another one. Again, I got a few of these because I like these. These things are kind of funny to me. But hey, Russ Meyer, my eyes are up here. And Batman yelling at Superman that it's his cousin. Yeah, fun little jokes. Pretty cool covers. And again, these are like sketches. These are sketch covers that he's doing on blanks. So you can see the talent that Frank Cho has here. And Incredible Hulk. You got the Incredible My Ass and Puny Banner. I mean, you get it. I mean, you get the joke of what's going on here. So I don't have to explain it to you. But this is pretty funny. And you got Thanos there just doing a little all snap. So again, funny stuff to me. Maybe not laugh out loud funny, but it makes you kind of smile, Here's another one. This is where we're going to start it on the butt shots. Basically, he does a lot of these with the wheat cakes, especially with Spider-Man tie-ins. But here we go with a little pin particle joke, and you got the Sweet Christmas. You got the boys down there below as well. Making the comments, making it funny. You don't know what the fan asked for exactly. Like, hey, can you give me a Wasp cover with Power Man and Iron Fist? You don't know what they asked for, but this is what's on there. And as I said, I mentioned those wheat cakes. There's a bunch of these. And I think a lot of times fans ask for this, and he's done multiple versions of the same thing. With MJ trying to squeeze into her pants, Spidey coming in with the wheat cakes because that's a popular thing that his Aunt May would make. Basically like a pancake, I guess. But it's kind of an old joke that is still kind of funny today. And yeah, so he does this one a lot, at different versions of it. Again, multiple versions to get different angles of it, but still doing the kind of the wheat cake joke. Then you also bring in the Mephisto comments and whatnot, and it goes beyond MJ too. You got Black Hat getting in on the fun too with the wheat cakes in there. Spidey popping in on the side, bringing in the plate of pancakes or wheat cakes. Anyway, amusing stuff. It doesn't even stick to Marvel. It goes on over to DC too, because hey, you know what? He's got Wonder Woman there too. Again, amusing stuff to me. I think they're really cool covers if you can get a sketch, go ahead, go for it. I mean, it's some good stuff that he does on these blank covers or has done. You don't find a lot of them for sale online. I saw like one or two, and they do ask quite a bit of money because this is not easy to find. It's not something you're gonna, just find anywhere. So it's rather unique items, but I still think they're kind of fun. You can again see a lot of this stuff online just to check out the cover, see some of the examples that he's done. He's not shy about sharing them, and like I said, it's just pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little thing there. But kind of sticking with that idea of the sketches for the sketch covers, he also has some very interesting sketch books that you can buy as well. Because again, he's a very talented artist. It's not just the characters, the backgrounds as well, just the layout and the design. It's just fantastic stuff. You can see here, here's a Pencil and Ink by Frank Cho. This is just an example of one of the books. I think Flesk Publishing does a lot of these things. You can see you got sketches inside, and yes, some things might get a little bit not suitable for work. Some of the images you might even get a nude sketch here or there, but it's art. This isn't anything to titillate really. It's just for art appreciation. So you can check out here some of these sketchbooks that he does. Another one that he does apart from this one was Pencil and Ink is the ballpoints. So just the things he can do with just like a ballpoint pen, like ballpoint pens here. This is just in this Ballpoint Beauties is the title for this one. But again, you just see sketches inside. Fantastic detail, fantastic work. I mean, you just look at the design work and just the detail he can get. And again, you can see little things are covered up here just for propriety's sake. But awesome, awesome artist, very, very talented. I'm a big fan. And rolling into this idea, though, especially with the sketches, because we're going to see a lot of that come through in his work later as we move on here. And I'm going to show you some more of these covers. But another run of covers outside of like the Liberty Meadows stuff and story that he did was Jungle Girl. And Jungle Girl features a lot of great covers. I know what you're going to say. Oh, a lot of cheesecake stuff. Yes, yes, it is. But if you appreciate that kind of thing, then these things are for you. Just gorgeous, gorgeous cover work here. This again, multiple volumes. There's the first volume, season 2. There's a season 3. These are like 5-6 issue miniseries. Not a ton of titles here. Not a lot of books. Not a long run, but just still things you just want to check out. And there's variants for these as well. I mean, you get some other artists mixed in as well, and you get some variations on the covers. Like for say this one, we're gonna go with season 3. There's number 4 because I really like it. But you can see here that this was the cover A. Awesome cover, but then there's different versions that Dynamite gave us with this 1 in 10 that's kind of a sketch with a little bit of color mixed in, and then you got a 1 in 20 that's the virgin version of this same cover. Again, some of these things can be kind of tough to find, and then you got a really tough to find 1 in 50, which is this kind of green scale kind of version of the cover as well. So there's a lot of variants and things mixed out there as well. So keep an eye on those because collectors will pay a premium for a lot of this stuff because it's not like fans of Frank Cho when they're looking for some of these things may pay a premium because a lot of these aren't that easy to find. So just keep an eye on it. An example of that is right here. We have this Jungle Girl from season 2. This is issue 4. I think, yeah, issue 4 from season 2. This is the regular cover. You can see here how you have the trade dress coming in through in the bottom here with it looks almost like a page rip kind of thing going on. But there is a sketch version that removes all of this blockage from it. And a lot of the image you might find online will see it censored because it does show her rear, her backside. But again, it's art, right? It's just art. But again, another one of these things for you to look out for because some of these aren't easy to find. But anyway, I do actually have this particular issue around here. I actually might even have an extra one of these. Maybe I'll throw in one of the big giveaways once we hit 2K if I can find it. But again, really gorgeous, gorgeous work. I even bid on another one that was up that ended in the auction over the weekend. I think it ended around $40 or so thereabouts. So again, these things pop up every once in a while and can sell for various amounts of money because it's not something that's on the top of everybody's radar. So sometimes these things can go for cheap, and then sometimes they can go for much higher because of multiple eyes on it at the time. It's all in the timing of who's shopping at the time that these things are available. That said, that's my little bit about Jungle Girl for you to go and check out his stuff there. He also had a nice little 5-issue cover run here on Ms. Marvel, the Carol Danvers. Before she became Captain Marvel, she was Ms. Marvel, let's not forget. And some pretty cool covers here. She's fighting the Brood in these early issues. Just great covers, great cover work. Like I said, she did the first 5 issues, issue 1, and then there was 2 and 3 before. Now we got 4 and 5 bookending here. And these things could be all over the place as far as pricing goes, where you can see issue 1 could sell around $10, and then the other issue could sell around 5 randomly. So they're not super expensive. These are things you can still find out there. Maybe even find them in a dollar box. I don't know. Dollar box may be tougher these days, but it doesn't hurt to look in case you can find these Ms. Marvels. And you can see the asking prices are also kind of all over the place with the, 10 to $20 for that issue 1. And then the regular issues of the other issues in this run of shows are at $3.75, $4. They're like cover price or less. These aren't that expensive books. These are things you can still find out there. So if you like the art, if you like him as an artist, these are just things I'm just recommending you keep an eye out for. Maybe you just add it to your PC just for that reason. As well as this next bit, which he did a lot. I think he did 63. I guess the math would work out here. But Harley Quinn. Yes, the rebirth run of Harley Quinn. Starting with issue 8, Frank Cho did the B covers, I think, through the end of the series of 75. So yeah, I guess that works out to somewhere around 60, 68 or something like that. I don't know, 63 or 68 covers he did. He did a bunch, let's just say that. Almost the entirety of the B cover run on these Harley books. And you can see a lot of different styles here. They're telling stories. You see little jokes here with the shark underneath. You got dancing with the a lot of different work, a lot of different details going into these things. And you can see, again, on that issue 14 here over on the side, where you get a little bit of that pencil ballpoint kind of style sketch work behind the more regular, pencils and inks kind of color style that you are used to. So just mixing like mediums together is something he did. He did play around with there on some of these Harley Quinn covers. And I thought it was kind of cool. You see it a little bit more later in the run. Like there's 25. He did this pretty awesome. I think it was also with 26. They kind of match up as a little bit of a connecting cover. You get that little bit of a sketchy pencil work behind, and then you got the full color version in the front. Just pretty cool stuff. And again, they're telling stories. I miss it when covers used to tell stories instead of just being a pinup of some action or just some first appearance character. I miss when there was actually a little bit of a story just being told on the cover art. And again, that's something I really do like about Frank Cho. And again, mixing the mediums here, you get that pencil work, just beautiful detailed design, the fine details in the background there. And that's something, again, you don't see a lot of from a lot of artists. A lot of times it's just a vague background of just some explosions and smoke. You don't know what's going on back there, or it's just some digital rendering of some cityscape. But this isn't that. This is, again, fine details being done with more traditional art styles. And again, that takes us up through issue 75 of Harley Quinn. Again, I'm a fan. Check out his work. If there's a ton of other covers I didn't even cover here, so that's not everything, obviously. That's just a little taste of things that catch my eye, things I like, things I was looking out for. So hopefully you enjoyed that for the artist portion of the show. And now we're going to switch on over to variants. As you know, we segment this thing out, so we're going to do a little bit of variants right now. So a couple of variants you might be able to find out there. Again, I don't know how your shop's price, but just be aware of what the market is on some of these books. Here, this is technically a D cover. This might have been a qualifying variant. I don't know how shops would, but it's not an incentive. But this is all new Wolverine number 13. You got a Viv Vision and a Black Widow on the cover of all new Wolverine. I think this was some sort of like a Champions type thing where they did different covers with the characters mixed in here and there. But this is a gorgeous Neil Adams cover. I like it. And this thing does pretty well, considering it's not an incentive variant. This is not like a 1 in 25, 1 in 50, or anything like that. This was technically a D cover for this book. But it still does pretty well. You can see copy sold back in July for about $45. If you want to go shopping for a copy right now, it is still about $45 to $50. So if you could find this tucked away in a box out there, cover price, or maybe a few bucks more, it might be worth your time. That's all I'm saying here. So check this one out if you can find it. I like it. I don't have this one because I don't feel like paying the $50, and I haven't found one in a shop for cheaper. So I'm going to keep hunting and keep looking for this gem, but it's out there. I know they're out there, so just keep hunting as well. Something I did find out there that I think is pretty cool is a G.I. Joe book. This is G.I. Joe, the Sierra Muerte miniseries. I think it was 3 issues, and there are retailer incentives on these. There are even a couple of these issues, like issue 1, I think has a 1 in 25 as well, but this is the 1 in 10. Really dig this Cobra Commander with the skull kind of showing through. It's gorgeous, gorgeous cover. And if you follow my IG, you see I did buy a couple of these because I do know a spot that had these for relatively cheap. And I'm not sure if they're still there, but I will tell you if you hit me up with a DM on IG, I'll tell you where I found it. If you're interested, I just want to throw it out here now. But if you want to take that extra step, you can reach out to me. And like I said, I'm not going to keep it secret. I'll tell you where I found it. I don't know if they have any more, but I did get a couple. And again, this is something I might throw in one of those boxes when we do our giveaway. Right now, this 1 in 10 didn't have any recent sales, so I can't tell you what this thing is sold for recently. But I can tell you that the asking prices are pretty high, all things considered, for a 1 in 10. Asking $60 to $100 for this particular 1 in 10. Yeah, I like it. It's a pretty cool cover, and like I told you, I found a couple of them. So just be on the lookout. These things are out there. You could find them. Now, issue 1 is definitely my favorite of this grouping of three 1 in 10 variants, but here's the number 2, just in case. I also found one of these at that same location, but it's not nearly as impressive as the number 1. Cover art, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, it is what it is. But once again, there's no sales on this one either, recent, and the asking prices are definitely more affordable for this. This is, again, a 1 in 10, so they're asking about ratio at $10 to $13 plus shipping. So this one is not that pricey, but doesn't hurt to know what it looks like in case you find it in a shop. Always check out with the IDWs. Look at the top. You'll see the RI under the number, and that's the retailer incentive. I don't know if you could read that any better, but there's usually just the regular cover, then a subscription cover, we'll say sub cover, and then RI means that's a retailer incentive. And if it says RE, that's a retailer exclusive, so that could more like a store variant or a convention variant version. So just know that at least IDW does note that on their covers. I wish Marvel would do stuff like that too. It would help us a whole lot, but what are you going to do, right? That said, that's issue 2. There was one more. This one is the for for issue 3. This is also the RI. This is a 1 in 10. Copy recently sold for $13 with free shipping. And I know that's what it sold for because I'm the one who bought it. Told you. Sometimes when I do research, I end up buying things. And I figured, you know what? For $13, that's about ratio once you factor in shipping. So I'm in for that. I kind of like it. I like G.I. Joe. So, and like I told you, I found issue 1 and 2. So just kind of wanted to complete the set of 1 in 10. So I went and bought that for $13. And I left the other one that was out there, which is asking a little bit more, asking 24. But again, you guys do what you want. I'm just saying, I bought it because I liked it just for my collection, for my PC alone. And yeah, it's just kind of fun stuff that I like digging for. Some of these easier to find incentives, these 1 in 10s, the 1 in 5s, because more shops will have them and they may still have them on hand because, again, these things get mixed in with the regular stock. They might not know that it's an incentive and think it's just like a B cover or just the regular cover because a lot of times it's not that well known. Yeah, that being said, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is later prints. I still like talking about the later printings, the second printings, and whatnot. And it's because it's kind of a fun little thing to hunt. It's kind of a fun little thing to find out there. There is a market for these days, a much bigger market than there once was. Now, not every book is going to be super duper expensive, but there are already a few that are. And then there are a few that might have some potential somewhere down the line, depending on what happens, what shakes out, what we see, adapted into on screen and Disney Plus and the movies and whatnot, DC even. So I'm going to share with you a couple of more second prints that either are already doing well, like this one. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 638. 638, this is the second printing. Has a giant O on it. Yeah, it looks like it was being built towards something. Like they were going to do more of these, and it was going to spell out maybe one more day. But this one just has the O, and that's really all you get. I mean, you also do see like things like hidden in the shadows of the background there. But this thing, again, graded copies have sold $100. Best offer on 160 for 9/8 for both of those. So I couldn't find any raw sales, but there's not some 9/8 sales. If you want to look for what the raw asking prices are, well, there's one asking $135. There's a 9/8 asking $175. And then there's a lot that is included with some of those Grim Hunt second prints that I think I've talked about already before on this. Asking 350 plus for that little lot of 5 issues. So some of these second prints, like I said, are already expensive. But if you find this gigantic O out there, just know that's what it is. That's the second print for 683, and it could be worth your time because the asks are pretty high on this. Now, our next one is not that expensive, but this comes in with those Secret Wars titles. And I know with all the hullabaloo around Secret Wars coming in 2025 now, as far as the movie goes, and which Secret Wars will it be and all that, I still like looking at some of those minis from that time for variants as well as later printings because it was a fun read at the time. Like they had to tell a lot of different stories through Marvel, and some of these things got second prints. Some of these had variants. So I like looking for these because the print runs weren't always high on most of these titles. But here we have Mrs. Deadpool and the Howling Commandos, issue 1. Secret Wars. This is back in 2015, and here's the regular cover. The second printing, however, you'll see the Secret Wars logo fade away here, and you'll see that it's Deadpool, and he's telling you it's a second printing, and the Secret Wars logo is moved further down the page. I don't know. I think it's kind of a fun little cover. I realize it's reused art, and I generally don't like the reused art where they just like recolor it or just like throw a different logo or different logo color or something on it or make it black and white. I generally don't care so much for those later printings, but this one does add the Deadpool element, which makes it kind of fun. And this one is still relatively cheap. No copies have sold recently, and the asking prices are not that expensive. This is like cover price, or maybe a little bit more. I mean, look, it's like $4 to $5 plus shipping, so it's not an expensive one. Maybe you can find it out there. So I'm not saying this is going to be worth a ton. Who knows what can happen with it? But it's just a fun little book that I think it's worth looking for because there's probably not that many of them out there. Again, I don't know what the print running is on this one. I'm not saying this is rare. I'm not saying it's hard to find. Because again, you can see the prices for yourself, what these are being asked for. I'm just saying this is kind of a fun little second print that I'm going to be looking for myself just because I want a copy to add to my own collection. Now, my last later printing is another one that is a bit pricey. Well, mostly because it is of a popular character and her #1 issue. So X-23, #1. You got Wolverine there on the cover. X-23, pretty cool. Not, I don't want to say it's not that easy to find, but you could find copies. But like I said, they are a little bit expensive, online at least. I don't know if your shops are going to have them. I don't know how many were printed of these things, but I can tell you that this thing sells for about anywhere from $20 to $50. 9/8 sold for a best offer on $290. So definitely can be an expensive book. But as you can see, sometimes you can sneak them at auction because nobody's looking at X-23 right now. So 5 bids, that one only went for $20, but the buy it now went for 50. And then when you factor in what the asking prices are, they're more in that $65, $70, $100 kind of range. Keep an eye out for auctions if you are shopping for books like these, because maybe you can get them for cheaper, like whoever won that $20 copy on August 24th. Because, again, these aren't the books that are on the Hot 10 lists. These aren't the books that are being talked about on all the other influencer shows and things like that. These aren't the books that I don't think a lot of people are looking at right now. That's why I like talking about them and looking at them, because this is when I go shopping. I go shopping when things are cheaper. So hopefully you can find these books for cheaper as well. But this is the market, and then you make the call for yourself depending on what you find at your shop or yard sale, half price book, flea market, wherever you go to find your comics. Just know what the market is, and you'll be better off for it. All right, next up, we're going to hit up a little bit of a video game section. I was all planned on doing the Castlevania books because I like these books, only to realize, you know what? I've already talked about these. I already talked about these IDWs. I think it was on episode 6 of Hidden Gems. So just a couple of months ago, I already covered these, but just show you again. Here's issue 1, issue 3, and issue 4. It's a 5-issue run. Definitely grab any of them if you find them. They still do pretty well. But I'm a big fan of Castlevania. I probably should have rocked the shirt to kind of support it, but I do have my Doctor Who character select on right now. But I know magazines should be in oddities, probably, but since we're talking video games, I felt like I can sneak in a video game magazine here. Everybody already knows Nintendo Power, like issue 1, is a book you want to look for because it's #1 of Nintendo Power. You will make some money if you can find one for cheap. But don't ignore issue #2 because it also does pretty well. And this is also introducing us all to Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, which is one of my favorite games that I played as a kid. That's definitely one of my favorites. I don't know, but you call whatever you want first appearance. This is a magazine. This is a magazine about video games. So it is what it is. But Nintendo Power #2 is the first time we're really getting printed Simon Belmont. So if you're looking for Simon Belmont, this is just something you probably want to have in your collection regardless. And you can see this thing can sell for, you know, $100, $110, $30 at auction. I'm telling you, auctions, keep an eye on them if you go shopping, because maybe you can get lucky. And prices out there right now are pretty steep, 120, 180, 190. So this is like $100 to $200 magazine if you can find it. Some of these prices you can get a little bit extra if it still has the poster inside, because Nintendo Power, they did have like those posters and inserts. So if all that stuff is still in there, you can definitely probably get a little bit of a premium on it. But even without it, these things sell pretty well, because I think even some of these copies that had sold with the posters missing for like $100. So just something to be mindful of. Now, this doesn't mean that every copy of Nintendo Power is worth a ton of money, but you never know what you can find out there. A lot of times you can find stacks of magazines for like $1 or less. You know, like you get deals like 7 for $5, and who knows what they have. So even on a blind, sometimes if you don't have access to your phone to go look things up, sometimes you just take a gamble because it's just something that seems intriguing to you. And if it's cheap enough, just take a shot, especially when you're buying stuff at like yard sales, you know, flea markets, Goodwills. I don't know, wherever you're doing your shopping for this cheap stuff, just keep it in mind, because sometimes taking a chance could pay off. And case in point, Nintendo Power number 32 follows up with Super Castlevania 4. It's a new quest for Simon Belmont. Again, this is a couple of years later for Nintendo Power. Like I said, not every issue was worth a ton, but still, if you can find this thing for $1 or less, who knows? You might do all right, because this thing could sell for $15 to $20, even on its own. And the asking prices also could be kind of in that same kind of range, you know, that 10 to 20 kind of bucks. So you never know. Just take a shot sometimes. If you know, like, oh, I know Castlevania. Maybe this is worth something. Again, who knows? And maybe it doesn't pan out, and all it cost you was a couple of pennies or $1 or so. That's all I'm talking about. Just have some fun with it. I mean, this is a hobby after all. So well, at least it's a hobby for me, and it's my passion. It's my love. I love doing this. So I love just gambling on things like that. Just think something catches my eye, I'm assuming it's probably going to catch somebody else's eye, and they're out there looking for it too. But that said, those are magazines. I know you probably don't want to talk about magazines. You're probably expecting comics, so we'll shift it back to comics for one issue of Shinobi, another classic video game. I wasn't a Genesis guy. I was a Nintendo guy, but I do know Shinobi was a very popular title. I played it, but not religiously, because, again, I didn't have a Genesis. So I only got to play it when I went over to a friend's house who had the system. And Shinobi was one of the books I did like, because I was a big Ninja Gaiden fan. So I thought it was the same. Not really, but still. Shinobi did have one issue, Dark Horse book. You can see here, here's the title. There is actually a newsstand for this as well. I did buy a newsstand on off of eBay not that long ago, just to add it to my own collection. But you can see this thing could sell for cheap. It could sell for like $5, $14, $25. Those are some recent sales, but the asking prices can be quite different. That's what actually, because again, keep an eye out. Sometimes these things pop up and you can sneak them out for cheap, because some of these listings can be for significantly higher, more in the $20 range, $40 range, $150. And you can see those bottom two, I believe, are both newsstand versions, as I mentioned, because that is a whole nother niche in our hobby these days. A lot of people collect the newsstands, and this is one that you might want to look for, because it could be a little bit tougher to find and a little bit pricier. But I'm not telling you to pay these prices. I'm telling you find it for cheaper when you go out hunting. And that said, that would be Shinobi, who also had, even though there's only one issue, that's the one cover, along with the newsstand, there is an exclusive version. I don't even know how you would got a hold of this book, but the Shinobi exclusive for Dark Horse, here you go, a little bit of a sketch cover on the white. This thing does all right. So find this one out there. I'd look for it. I'm looking for it, because you might do all right. Granted, copy sold not that long ago. Well, back in May. Best offer on $40. And then you can see the asking prices can be anywhere from $30, $45, $200 for this Shinobi exclusive book. Again, there's no newsstand version of this one. It's probably a giveaway of some sort. Again, I'm not 100% sure how you got a hold of this particular cover or this particular copy, but this is a variant that is out there that does seem to command a bit of a premium over the regular edition. So just be mindful of that. And again, just also pay attention to the pricing. Doesn't mean you're automatically going to pay a ton of money for this, because look, if you want one, you can get one for $30 right now with free shipping. I mean, I'm not saying that's cheap. I'm just saying keep that in mind. Don't go overextending yourself trying to find some of these books just because you get caught in FOMO. I'm not here to create FOMO. I'm here to just share some information just so you have more knowledge when you go on hunting, so you know what you're looking at. That said, moving on to our final segment for this particular week, I'm going to wrap up with no oddities this week. Because like I said, those video game magazines kind of were oddities, but I'm going to wrap it up with the nostalgia picks because I know I like talking about nostalgia because, well, it's my nostalgia, and I know I share that with a lot of you with some of these picks. And this week, I want to talk about an old '80s toy line, cartoon even, and a short run comic book. And this one is Centurions. I had a couple of these. I don't think I had all the figures for this run. I had a few. These were interesting. These were interesting toys. There's a bit of the cartoon look there, but the toys, a lot of accessories for these guys. There was a lot of they had the holes all in their bodies, so you can move things and put weapons and missiles and armor pieces, and they had different helmets and backpacks and all kinds of little things that you can take off of one figure and basically put them all in the other because they're just you pop them in the hole. So it was almost like a little bit of an interchangeable kind of thing, and that's the kind of thing as a kid I was doing anyway. I mean, yes, you got your GI Joes and they came with what weapons they came with, but you never kept them with the right figure all the time. Eventually, the weapons and the gear all got mixed around. The backpacks got switched up, and you started putting your favorites, taking your favorites weapons on your favorite characters, and sort of loading them up. And then what was left over went to the other characters that maybe you weren't so fond of. But that kind of idea was very well worked into the toy design for these Centurions, and they were kind of a bigger figure for the time. As I said, I mentioned GI Joe, but these guys were a little bit taller. They're not quite like the 6-inch size. I believe these are maybe around maybe 5 inches, maybe if I'm remembering right. But as you can see here, just got some of the examples of some of the weapons, and they had some of the shooting aspects, a little bit of the trigger with the little spring-loaded type dealios mixed in here as well. Cool toy line. That's it. This isn't a toy show, but I do like talking toys. But there were comics, and DC had I think it's a 4-issue run for Centurions. Power Extreme. So you can see here, there's issue 1. Everybody likes the issue 1s, but there was also, 3 more issues to go along with this, with 2, 3, and 4. So only 4 issues in this run for Centurions. Check it. Look for it in dollar bins. I found these in dollar bins. Anytime I see them, I grab them. But I grab any toy line comic for $1 usually, unless it's really ripped up or beat up. I'll leave it behind. But anything like Centurions, Sectars, Masks, Thundercats, all that stuff, if I see them in cheap boxes, I generally bring them home because I like that stuff personally. And even if I have duplicates, I just figure I'll find something to do with them later. Visionaries, all these toys that I remember from my youth, I figure they may get their day in the sun again. Who knows if we're going to get a revamp of Centurions anytime soon, but you never know. And once those things do, I mean, look what happened with the Thundercat rumors. We got that crappy remake Thundercat cartoon, and that drove the Thundercat comics to be just shoot up for a while. Now they're still up there, and I know there's rumors of more things coming down the pike, but we'll see. It all was still based off of that OK Go, kind of like that little goofy Cartoon Network kind of style version. I just didn't care for it personally. But going off on a sidetrack, going off down a rabbit hole here. Let's just wrap up our look here at Centurions. You can see issue 1, $6. The whole lot of 4, about $30. A couple of sales there. What that goes for. Asking price is kind of the same deal. First issue may command a premium, but here there's not even a first issue here. But individual issues could be like $3, $10, $8. Lots of all 4 asking like $40 or $30, like how the sales go. So that's my little tale and my little bit of nostalgia for Centurions. Just another one of those oddball things you can find, maybe like Man Tech and things like that. You can find in those cheap bins. Like I said, I just pick them up whenever I see them. And I'm not saying you have to, but I don't know, just letting you know what I do. And with that, thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I should be back to my regular schedule this week. Hopefully I can get everything done in time and in order. I'm doing my best to get back in a rhythm here, coming back from vacation. But I do appreciate you guys still hanging in there with me, and all the fellas who filled in this week while I was out. I'll still be ready to do, Star Wars show tonight. I'm filming this on Sunday. So Star Wars show tonight. We're going to do that live. Going to do the tax show live on Wednesday. And this will be for my Monday show. I'll be doing Chasing Ghosts soon for Tuesday. And then do Dialer Bin Digging on Thursday. The boys doing Mail Call Madness on Friday. Saturday Night Special on Saturday is another live show that I am not on. But still, check out the fellas. Give them a view. They do a lot of cool stuff over there with segments covering some of the news that we may not cover or may have missed on the tax show. They may be talking about other stuff other than what I may be talking about. So go check out the boys on Saturday as well. It's worth your time. And with that all said, I will see you guys soon with some more content. All right, later.